Good morning and shalom, mishpacha and havarim, and all who join us here to fellowship in the Word with the book of Jubilees. Hope you're enjoying this book. Today we will read chapters 26 through 30, Abba willing. But before we start, let's bow our hearts and pitch this tent with Abba Yahweh Elohim. Most beloved Abba Yahweh, we come before you most humbly, Father, to worship you in spirit, to praise you and to glorify you, lifting up your name, and to thank you, Abba, for every day you make for us to live in, and to recognize you, and to turn to you in all our ways, and worship you with a clean heart, as we learn how to worship you with a clean heart. Thank you for bringing us together in fellowship to share your word once again, Father. Please open up our eyes, our ears and our hearts to see, hear and understand with your wisdom, knowledge and understanding, and not our own, as we are flawed. And you're perfect in all your ways, Father. We lift you up with all esteem as our teacher, our ruler and our creator. He who is, we seek you with all our heart and all our being, Father. You bring us life, and without you we are dead. Thank you for your word, the living word, for Yah's salvation, Yeshua HaMashiach, and for your Ruach HaKodesh, our comforter. Through Yeshua in Yahweh we pray. Yahweh, our Kodesh Elohim, Yahweh Echad. Amen. Okay, well, thank you for joining me. Got a lot of respiratory issues recently. Practicing breathing with Abba Yahweh. I have allergies to so many things in the air, but it's okay. I'm dealing with it and he's helping me. So I'm sitting here with a hot water bottle on my chest to try and help my chest be able to relax a little so that I can read to you people. I've left up the glossary and pronunciation guide for reference. And can we listen as children, eager to understand, and take all your questions directly to Abba Yahweh. So let's get comfortable and let's read chapter 26. And in the 7th year of this week, Yitzchak called Esau, his elder son, and said to him, I am old, my son, and see, my eyes are dim in seeing, and I do not know the day of my death. And now take your hunting weapons, your quiver and your bow, and go out to the field, and hunt and catch for me, my son, and make me a tasty dish, such as my being loves, and bring it to me, that I may eat, and that my being may barak you before I die. But Rivkah heard Yitzchak speaking to Esau, and Esau went out early to the field to hunt and catch and bring home to his father. And Rivkah called Yaakov, her son, and said to him, See, I heard Yitzchak your father speak to Esau, your brother, saying, Hunt for me, and make me a tasty dish, and bring to me, that I may eat and barak you before Yahweh, before I die. And now, my son, obey my voice in that which I command you. Go to your flock, and fetch me 2 choice young goats, and I shall make them a tasty dish for your father, such as he loves. And you shall bring to your father, that he may eat and barak you before Yahweh, before he dies, and that you may be baruch. And Yaakov said to Rivkah, his mother, Mother, I shall not withhold any matter which my father would eat, and which would please him. Only I fear my mother, that he shall recognize my voice and want to touch me. And you know that I am smooth, and Esau my brother is hairy, and I shall appear before his eyes as an evildoer, and shall do a deed which he did not command me, and he shall be wroth with me, and I shall bring upon myself a curse and not a berakah. And Rivkah his mother said to him, Your curse be upon me, my son, only obey my voice. And Yaakov obeyed the voice of Rivkah his mother, and went and fetched 2 choice and fat young goats, and brought them to his mother, and his mother prepared them such as he loved. And Rivkah took the best garments of Esau, her elder son, which was with her in the house, and she clothed Yaakov, her younger son, and she put the skins of the young goats upon his hands and on the exposed parts of his neck. How devious. And she gave the meat and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Yaakov. And Yaakov went into his father and said, I am your son. I have done accordingly as you asked me. Arise and sit and eat of that which I have caught, father, that your being may barach me. And Yitzchak said to his son, How have you found so quickly, my son? And Yaakov said, Because your Elohim caused me to find. And Yitzchak said to him, Come near, that I may feel you, my son, if you are my son Esau or not. And Yaakov went near to Yitzchak his father, and he felt him and said, The voice is Yaakov's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he did not recognize him, because it was caused from the Shamayim to remove his power of perception, and Yitzchak did not recognize, for his hands were hairy as Esau's, so that he barach him. And he said, Are you my son Esau? And he said, I am your son. And he said, Bring near to me, that I may eat of that which you have caught, my son, that my being may barach you. And he brought near to him, and he ate. And he brought him wine, and he drank. And Yitzchak his father said to him, Come near and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his garment. And he barach him, and said, See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field, which Yahweh has barach. And may Yahweh give you of the dew of the Shamayim, and of the dew of the earth, and plenty of grain and oil. Let nations serve you, and people bow down to you. Be master over your brothers, and let your mother's sons bow down to you. And may all the birachoth with which Yahweh has barak me and barak Avraham my father be given to you and to your seed forever. Cursed be he that curses you, and barak be he that barach you. And it came to be, as soon as Yitzchak had made an end to barach his son Yaakov, and Yaakov had gone out from Yitzchak his father, Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he also made a tasty dish and brought to his father, and said to his father, Let my father arise and eat of my wild game, that your being may barach me. And Yitzchak his father said to him, Who are you? And he said to him, I am your firstborn, your son Esau. I have done as you have commanded me. And Yitzchak was greatly astonished and said, Who is he that has hunted and caught and brought to me? And I have eaten of all before you came, and have barak him. He shall be barak, and all his seed forever. And it came to be, when Esau heard the words of his father Yitzchak, that he cried with an exceedingly great and bitter cry, and said to his father, Barach me too, father. And he said to him, Your brother came with deceit, and has taken away your berachah. And he said, Now I know why his name is called Yaakov. See, he has caught me by the heel these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and now he has taken away my berachah. And he said, Have you not reserved a berachah for me, father? And Yitzchak answered him and said to Esau, See, I have made him your master, and all his brothers I have given to him for servants, and with plenty of grain and wine and oil I have strengthened him. And what now shall I do for you, my son? And Esau said to Yitzchak, his father, Have you but one berachah, O father? Barach me too, father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Yitzchak answered and said to him, See, far from the dew of the earth shall be your dwelling, and far from the dew of the Shamayim from above. And by your sword you shall live, and you shall serve your brother. And it shall come to be, when you become great, and shake his yoke from off your neck, you shall sin a complete sin unto death. And your seed shall be rooted out from under the Shamayim. And Esau kept threatening Yaakov because of the berachah with which his father barach him. And he said in his heart, May the days of mourning for my father now come, so that I may slay my brother Yaakov. Chapter 27. And the words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rivkah in a dream. And Rivkah sent and called Yaakov, her younger son, and said to him, See, Esau your brother shall take vengeance on you, so as to kill you. Now, therefore, my son, obey my voice, and arise and flee to Lavan, my brother, to Haran, and stay with him a few days, until your brother's wrath turns away, and he removes his wrath from you, and forgets all that you have done. Then I shall send and bring you from there. And Yaakov said, I'm not afraid. If he wants to kill me, I shall kill him. But she said to him, Let me not be bereaved of both my sons on one day. And Yaakov said to Rivkah his mother, See, you know that my father has become old and does not see, because his eyes are dim, and if I leave him, it shall be evil in his eyes, because I leave him and go away from you. And my father shall be wroth and shall curse me. I shall not go. When he sends me, then only shall I go. And Rivkah said to Yaakov, I shall go in and speak to him, and he shall send you away. And Rivkah went in and said to Yitzchak, I loathe my life, because of the 2 daughters of Heth, whom Esau has taken as wives. And if Yaakov takes a wife from among the daughters of the land, such as these, for what purpose do I further live? For the daughters of Canaan are evil. And Yitzchak called Yaakov and barach him, and warned him, and said to him, Do not take a wife of any of the daughters of Canaan. Arise and go to Aram Naharaim, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and take a wife from there of the daughters of Lavan, your mother's brother. And El Shaddai barach you, and increase and multiply you, that you may become a company of nations, and give you the berachot of my father Abraham, to you and to your seed after you, that you may inherit the land of your sojournings, and all the land which Elohim gave to Abraham. Go in peace, my son. And Yitzchak sent Yaakov away, and he went to Aram Naharaim, to Lavan, the son of Bethuel, the Aramean, the brother of Rivkah, Yaakov's mother. And it came to be, after Yaakov had arisen to go to Aram Naharaim, that the spirit of Rivkah was grieved after her son, and she wept. And Yitzchak said to Rivkah, my sister, do not weep on account of Yaakov, my son, for he goes in peace, and in peace he shall return. The Most High El shall preserve him from all evil, and shall be with him, and he shall not forsake him all his days. For I know that his ways shall be prospered in all matters wherever he goes, until he returns to us in peace, and we see him in peace. Do not fear on his account, my sister, for he is on the upright path, and he is a perfect man, and he is trustworthy and shall not perish. Do not weep. And Yitzchak comforted Rivkah on account of her son Yaakov, and barak him. And Yaakov went from Beersheba to go to Haran on the first year of the second week in the 44th Yovel, and he came to Luz on the mountains, that is Beth El, on the new moon of the first month of this week. And he came to the place in the evening, and turned from the way to the west of the road that night, and he slept there, for the sun had gone down. And he took one of the stones of that place and laid it under the tree. And he was journeying alone, and he slept. And he dreamt that night, and see, a ladder put up on the earth, and the top of it reached to the Shamayim, and see, the messengers of Yahweh ascended and descended on it, and see, Yahweh stood upon it. And he spoke to Yaakov and said, I am Yahweh Elohim of Avraham, your father, and the Elohim of Yitzchak. The land on which you are sleeping, to you I shall give it, and to your seed after you. And your seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and you shall increase to the west and to the east, to the north and the south. And in you and in your seed all the families of the nations shall be Baruch. And see, I shall be with you, and shall keep you wherever you go, and I shall bring you again into this land in peace, for I shall not leave you until I do all that I told you of. And Yaakov awoke from his sleep and said, truly, this place is the house of Yahweh, and I did not know it. And he was afraid and said, how awesome is this place, which is none other than the house of Elohim, and this is the gate of the Shamayim. And Yaakov arose early in the morning, and took the stone which he had put under his head, and put it up as a standing column for a sign, and he poured oil on the top of it, and he called the name of that place Beth El, and the name of the place was Luz, at the first, to the house of El in Luz. Verse 27, and Yaakov vowed to Yahweh, saying, if Yahweh shall be with me, and shall keep me in this way that I go, and give me bread to eat and garments to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then Yahweh shall be my Elohim, and this stone which I have put up as a standing column for a sign in this place shall be the house of Yahweh, and of all that you give me I shall give the 10th to you, my Elohim. Wow, a pledge to Elohim. Amazing. Chapter 28. And he went on his journey and came to the land of the east to Lavan, the brother of Rivkah, and he was with him and served him for Rahel, his daughter, 1 week. And in the first year of the 3rd week, he said to him, give me my wife, for whom I have served you 7 years. And Lavan said to Yaakov, I shall give you your wife. And Lavan made a feast and took Leah, his elder daughter, and gave her to Yaakov as a wife, and gave her Zilpah, his female servant, for an female servant. But Yaakov did not know, for he thought that she was Rachel. And he went in to her, but see, she was Leah. And Yaakov was wroth with Laban, and said to him, Why have you done this to me? Did not I serve you for Rachel, and not for Leah? Why have you wronged me? Take your daughter, and I shall go. For you have done evil to me. And Yaakov loved Rachel more than Leah, and Leah's eyes were weak, and was very lovely of form. But Rachel had lovely eyes, and very lovely of form and appearance. And Laban said to Yaakov, It is not done so in our country, to give the younger before the elder, and it is not right to do this. For so it is ordained and written in the tablets of the Shamayim, that no one should give his younger daughter before the elder, but the elder one is given first, and after her the younger. And the man who does so lay guilt against him in the Shamayim. They lay guilt against him in the Shamayim, and none is righteous that does this matter. For this deed is evil before Yahweh, and command the children of Israel that they do not do this matter. Let them neither take nor give the younger before they have given the elder, for it is very wicked. And Laban said to Yaakov, Let the 7 days of the feast of this one pass by, and I shall give you Rachel, that you may serve me another 7 years, that you may pasture my sheep, as you did in the former week. And on the day when the 7 days of the feast of Leah had passed, Laban gave Rachel to Yaakov, that he might serve him another 7 years. And he gave Rachel Bilhah, the sister of Zilpah, as a female servant. And he served yet another 7 years for Rachel, for Leah had been given to him for naught. And Yahweh opened the womb of Leah, and she conceived, and bore Yaakov a son, and he called his name Reuven, on the 14th day of the 9th month, in the 1st year of the 3rd week. But the room of Rachel was closed, for Yahweh saw that Leah was hated, but Rachel loved. And again Yaakov went in to Leah, and she conceived and bore Yaakov a second son, and he called his name Shimon, on the 21st of the 10th month, and in the 3rd year of this week. And again Yaakov went in to Leah, and she conceived and bore him a 3rd son, and he called his name Levi. In the new moon on the 1st month in the 6th year of this week. And Yaakov went into her, and she conceived and bore him a 4th son, and he called his name Yehudah, on the 15th of the 3rd month, in the 1st year of the 4th week. And on account of all this Rachel envied Leah, for she did not bear, and she said to Yaakov, Give me children. And Yaakov said, Have I withheld from you the fruits of your womb? Have I forsaken you? And when Rachel saw that Leah had borne 4 sons to Yaakov, Reuven and Shimon and Levi and Yehudah, she said to him, Go in to Bilhah, my female servant, and she shall conceive and bear a son to me. And he went in to her, and she conceived and bore him a son, and he called his name Dan, on the 9th of the 6th month, in the 6th year of the 3rd week. And Yaakov went in again to Bilhah, a second time, and she conceived and bore Yaakov another son. And Rachel called his name Naphtali on the 5th of the 7th month in the 2nd year of the 4th week. And when Leah saw that she had become barren and ceased bearing, she was jealous. And she also gave her female servant Zilpah to Yaakov as wife. And she conceived and bore a son, and Leah called his name Gad. On the 12th of the 8th month, in the 3rd year of the 4th week. And he went into her again, and she conceived and bore him a second son, and Leah called his name Asher. On the 2nd of the 11th month, in the 5th year of the 4th week. And Yaakov went in to Leah, and she conceived and bore a son, and she called his name Yisachar. On the 4th of the 5th month, in the 4th year of the 4th week, and she gave him to a nurse. And Yaakov went into her again, and she conceived and bore two, a son and a daughter, and she called the name of the son Zebulon, and the name of the daughter Dinah. In the 7th of the 7th month, in the 6th year of the 4th week. It's like a tongue twister, really. And Yahweh showed favour to Rachel and opened her womb, and she conceived and bore a son, and she called his name Yosef. On the new moon of the 4th month, in the 6th year, in this 4th week. And in the days when Yosef was born, Yaakov said to Lavan, "Give me my wives and sons, and let me go to my father Yitzchak, and let me make myself a house, for I have completed the years in which I have served you for your two daughters, and I shall go to the house of my father." And Lavan said to Yaakov, "Stay with me for your wages, and pasture my flock for me again, and take your wages." And they agreed with one another that he should give him as his wages those of the lambs and young goats which were born black and spotted and white were to be his wages. And all the sheep brought forth spotted and speckled and black, variously marked. And they again brought forth lambs like themselves. And all that were spotted were Yaakov's, and those which were not were Lavan's. And Yaakov's possessions multiplied exceedingly, and he possessed oxen and sheep and donkeys and camels and male and female servants. And Lavan and his sons envied Yaakov, and Lavan took back his sheep from him, and he watched him with evil intent. Patience is key. Chapter 29. And it came to be, when Rachel had borne Yosef, that Lavan went to shear his sheep, for they were distant from him 3 days' journey. And Yaakov saw that Lavan was going to shear his sheep, and Yaakov called Leah and Rachel, and spoke kindly to them, that they should come with him to the land of Canaan. And he told them how he had seen it all in a dream, even all that he had spoken to him, that he should return to his father's house. And they said, "To every place where you go, we shall go with you." And Yaakov barak the Elohim of Yitzchak his father, and the Elohim of Avraham his father's father. And he arose and mounted his wives and his children, and took all his possessions, and crossed the river, and came to the land of Gilead. But Yaakov hid his intention from Lavan, and did not tell him. And in the 7th year of the 4th week, Yaakov turned toward Gilead in the 1st month, on the 21st. And Laban pursued after him and overtook Yaakov in the mountain of Gilead in the 3rd month on the 13th. But Yahweh did not allow him to injure Yaakov, for he appeared to him in a dream by night, and Laban spoke to Yaakov. And on the 15th of those days, Yaakov made a feast for Laban and for all who came with him. And Yaakov swore to Laban that day, and Laban also to Yaakov, that neither should cross the mountain of Gilead to the other with evil purpose. And he made there a heap for a witness. Therefore the name of that place is called Yehar Sahadutha, after this heap. But before they used to call the land of Gilead the land of the Rephaim. For it was the land of the Rephaim, and the Rephaim were born giants whose height was 10, 9, 8, down to 7 amar. Okay, an amar equals 17.47 inches, so just over 1.5 feet. They were very big people. And their dwelling was from the land of the children of Ammon to Mount Hermon, and the seats of their reign were Karnaim and Ashtaroth and Edrei and Mitzar and Beon. And Yahweh destroyed them because of the evil of their deeds, for they were very evil. And the Amorites dwelt in their place, wicked and sinful. And there is no people today which has filled all their sins, and they have no longer length of life on the earth. And Yaakov sent Laban away, and he departed to Aram Naharaim, the land of the east. And Yaakov returned to the land of Gilead, and he passed over the Yabok in the 9th month on the 11th. And on that day Esau his brother came to him, and he was reconciled to him and departed from him to the land of Seir. But Yaakov dwelt in tents. And in the 1st year of the 5th week in this Yovel he crossed the Jordan and dwelt beyond the Jordan, and he pastured his flocks from the sea of Ayat to Beth Shean, and to Dothan, and to the ascent of Akrabim. And he sent to his father Yitzchak of all his substance, garments, and food, and meat, and drink, and milk, and butter, and cheese, and some dates of the wadi. And to his mother Rivkah also 4 times a year, between the times of the months, between ploughing and reaping, and between fall and the rain, and between winter and spring, to the tower of Avraham. For Yitzchak had returned from Beersheba and gone up to the tower of his father Avraham, and he dwelt there apart from his son Esau. For in the days when Yaakov went to Aram Naharaim, Esau took a wife, Mahalath, the daughter of Yishmael, and he gathered together all the flocks of his father and his wives, and went up and dwelt on Mount Seir, and left Yitzchak his father at Beersheba alone. And Yitzchak went up from Beersheba and dwelt in the tower of Avraham his father on the mountains of Hebron. And there Yaakov sent all that he sent to his father and his mother from time to time, all they needed, and they barak Yaakov with all their heart and with all their being. How beautiful. Chapter 30. And in the 1st year of the 6th week he went up to Salem, to the east of Shechem, in peace in the 4th month. and there they carried off Dinah, the daughter of Yaakov, into the house of Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, the prince of the land, and he lay with her and defiled her, and she was a little girl, a child of 12 years. And he pleaded with his father and her brother that she might be given to him as wife. But Yaakov and his sons were wroth because of the men of Shechem, for they had defiled Dinah, their sister, and they spoke to them with evil intent and dealt deceitfully with them and deceived them. And Shimon the Levite came unexpectedly to Shechem and executed judgment on all the men of Shechem, and slew all the men whom they found in it, and left not a single one remaining in it. They slew all in anguish, because they had dishonoured their sister Dinah. And thus let it not be done again from this time on, that a daughter of Israel be defiled. For judgment is ordained in the Shamayim against them, that they should destroy with the sword all the men of the Shechemites, because they had acted shamefully in Israel. Ooh. And Yahweh delivered them into the hands of the sons of Yaakov, that they might wipe them out with the sword and execute judgment upon them, and that it might not be done so again in Israel, that a maiden of Israel should be defiled. And if there is any man in Israel who desires to give his daughter or his sister to any man who is of the seed of the Gentiles, he shall certainly die. And they shall stone him with stones, for he has acted shamefully in Israel. And they shall burn the woman with fire, because she has dishonoured the name of the house of her father, and she shall be rooted out of Israel. And do not let an adulteress and no uncleanness be found in Israel unto forever of the generations of the earth. For Israel is Kodesh unto Yahweh, dedicated unto Yahweh, and every man who defiles it shall certainly die. They shall stone him with stones. Strong words here. Verse 9. For so it has been ordained and written in the tablets of the Shamayim regarding all the seed of Israel, he who defiles it shall certainly die, and he shall be stoned with stones. And to this law there is no limit of days, and no remission, nor any atonement. But the man who has defiled his daughter shall be rooted out of the midst of all Israel, because he has given of his seed to Molech, and acted wickedly, so as to defile it. And you, Moshe, shall command the children of Israel and change them, not to give their daughters to the Gentiles, and not to take for their sons any of the daughters of the Gentiles, for this is an abomination before Yahweh. For this reason I have written for you in the words of the law all the deeds of the Shechemites, which they did against Dinah, and how the sons of Yaakov spoke, saying, We shall not give our daughters to a man who is uncircumcised, for that is a reproach to us. And it is a reproach to Israel, to those who give, and to those who take the daughters of the Gentiles, for this is unclean, and an abomination to Israel, and Israel shall not be free from this uncleanness, if it has a wife of the daughters of the Gentiles, or has given any of its daughters to a man who is of any of the Gentiles. Ooh. For there shall be plague upon plague, and curse upon curse, and every judgment and plague and curse shall come if he does this matter, or hides his eyes from those who commit uncleanness, or those who defile the Mikdash of Yahweh, or those who profane his Kodesh name. The whole nation together shall be judged for all the uncleanness and wickedness of this. And there shall be no respect of faces, and no receiving at his hands of first fruits and offerings and burnt offerings and fat, nor the fragrance of sweet incense, so as to accept it. And so it is for every man or woman in Israel who defiles the Mikdash. For this reason I have commanded you, saying, witness this witness to Israel. See what became of the Shechemites and their sons, how they were delivered into the hands of 2 sons of Yaakov, and they slew them under agony, and it was unto them for righteousness, and it is written down to them for righteousness. Interesting. And the seed of Levi was chosen for the kahunah, and to the Levites, that they might serve before Yahweh as we continually, and that Levi and his sons may be Baruch forever. For he was ardent to execute righteousness and judgment and vengeance on all those who rose up against Israel. And so they inscribe as a witness in his favour on the tablets of the Shamayim, Berachah and righteousness before the Elohim of all. And we remember the righteousness which the man fulfilled during his life, at all periods of the year, until 1,000 generations they shall record it, and it shall come to him and to those descendants after him, and he has been recorded on the tablets of the Shamayim as a friend and a righteous man. All this account I have written for you, and have commanded you to say to the children of Israel that they should not commit sin nor transgress the laws, nor break the covenant which has been ordained for them, that they should complete it and be recorded as friends. But if they transgress and work uncleanness in every way, they shall be recorded on the tablets of the Shamayim as adversaries, and they shall be destroyed out of the book of High, and they shall be recorded in the book of those who shall be destroyed, and with those who shall be rooted out of the earth. Goodness me. And on the day when the sons of Yaakov slew Shechem, a writing was recorded in their favour in the Shamayim, that they had executed righteousness and uprightness and vengeance on the sinners. And it was written for a berachah. And they brought Dinah, their sister, out of the house of Shechem, and they took captive all that was in Shechem, their sheep and their cattle and their donkeys and all their wealth and all their flocks, and brought them all to Yaakov their father. And he reproached them because they had put the city to the sword, for he feared those who dwelt in the land, the Canaanites and the Perizzites. And the dread of Yahweh was upon all the cities which are around about Shechem, and they did not rise to pursue after the sons of Yaakov, for terror had fallen upon them. So end of chapter 30. And how we learn about the effect of our behaviour in the world through these stories. It's amazing how we still err today, even in all the same ways. Anyway, our own ways. Where's the learning? Dear beloved Father, please forgive us for all our iniquities, all the strongholds and demons we harbour that mean to separate us from you. We rely on your protection, your promise of the blessed hope. Save us from ourselves and others, from the seen and the unseen, and from the known and the unknown, as only you know the entirety of what's really going on. Keep us under your wing, looking up and looking forward to that which is to come. We eagerly await our Adon Yeshua HaMashiach, who came as Yah's salvation, Tudi Abba. Please keep us from fear and safe from all enemies, and please have us learn to be pleasing to you, Father. Thank you for this fellowship with the book of Yobelim in the Word, and for opening our eyes, ears and hearts to your wisdom, knowledge and understanding. Thank you for having us understand in a more broader way than we've understood before the importance of sticking to your laws. Please shower your blessing of shalom on those who hear this prayer and love you above all else with all their heart, Father. Through Yeshua in Yahweh we pray. Yahweh, our Kodesh, our dedicated Elohim. Yahweh Ehad. Yahweh is one. Amen. Onward and upward, Mishpachah and Havarim. Keep watching and waiting. He's coming for us soon. Let's be ready. Stay in the Word, stand firm, with much hope and expectation. I love you all. Through Yeshua in Yahweh. Go in peace, and may your life be absent of strife, and may Yahweh Elohim provide you and yours with all you need to be whole and complete. Shalom.
There are houses of healing I've never known before. Yours was the door leading in. Wounded without feeling, lost within the storm. Yours were the arms I rested in. Yours was the door leading in. Comforting conversation, thoughts that warm every breeze. Yours was the word I trusted in. And if I've known sweet elation, I've never seen past my dreams. Yours was the dream I was sleeping in. Yours was the door leading in. I've never known before. Yours were the arms I rested in. Yours was the word I trusted in. Yours was the dream I was sleeping in. Yours